Dr. Mallon, thanks so much for spending some time with me today. It's always nice to meet fellow bald men, especially when they're clients. I'm glad to spend a little bit of time with you today. We're interviewing some of our clients to get a better understanding of why they decided to work with us, and why they continue to do so. I just want to ask you a couple questions, and thanks again for agreeing to this. So the first thing I wanted to ask was, tell me a little bit about yourself and your practice. How long have you been in business? When did you start? Just a little bit about your background.
Yeah, our practice itself is a general dental practice in Chesterfield, Missouri, which is a suburb of St. Louis. We're a smaller practice by design. We have about three operatories, so we're probably one of your smaller clients. The practice has been here for about 30 years, so we've been part of the community for a while. We're probably on third generation of patients, so we've been seeing some families for a very long time, grandparents, and now we're all the way down to grandkids. So it's pretty amazing to see that. One of the highlights of our practice is we do offer IV general sedation. So we're one of the few general dental practices in the state of Missouri that does offer that. So highlight that specific service when we with great dental websites and it's really taken off from there, and we've been really pleased.
Do you have a specialist that you bring in to do the IV sedation, or is that something you do yourself?
That would be something that I do myself. We do have the opportunity to bring in a anesthesiologist if needed. We can certainly do that, but most of them are done by myself.
Oh, if you have multiple generations of family coming back, it's a good testament to patient loyalty and a good indicator that you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
It's good to hear. So, how long have you been a client of ours? When did you first hear about us?
So I would say probably in late 2019 we began the initial discussion,
Mhm.
and we started onboarding in late about that same time. And then the website probably didn't go live until early 2020. To date, we're still having you guys provide ongoing services for support and SEO as well.
Very, very good to hear. And what made you decide that it was time to look for a new website or marketing company? What was the point where things weren't working, or you were just looking at the old website and saying, gotta get rid of this thing? What was the trigger point for you?
You know, our website, although the older website served us okay for many
Mhm.
years, it was old and I guess antiquated. You know, we really wanted to customize it. You know, so much of our office protocol or mission statement is really personalized level of care, and that certainly was not reflected in our website, just being the standard issue cookie cutter type website. As we wanted to kind of update that website and put in more testimonials, more before and afters, more staff photos, there was only so much we could do with it, and we really kind of felt we were kind of in this box. So as we kind of moved towards something that was a little bit more personalized, that's where we started really looking at different website development companies, and it seemed like on a consistent basis that your company name came up time and time again, whether it was a website that we came across that we really liked or recommendations from other dentists. That's where the initial conversation really started.
That's good to hear. So what ultimately made you decide to pick us? Because there's lots of choices in the market. I'm sure you had lots of options and lots of people vying for your business. If you had to pick like one or two things, what was it that made you decide that this is the right choice for us?
For us, I think it was important that you guys had such a great track record with dental offices.
Mhm.
You know, certainly there's things that you guys have done that have worked, and there's some things that
It's always good.
other things that maybe didn't work. And just having that track record and being able to ask questions. I think your ability to be very transparent and be out there in media, whether it be online forums, you know you're always available to answer questions. Um, I think that's been huge as well. You're kind of the face behind the company, but you also are very open in terms of what you can support and what you can do, and that's always welcoming as well. So you're kind of that trusted authority before we even jumped on board.
Oh, good. I'm glad someone's reading all my posts. I remember that happened out of necessity when I first started the company many years ago. I inquired about like advertising on, publications and forums and stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't have any of this money to do this. And they're like, well, just go in the forums and be useful. And I was like, okay, I'll try that. And so I mean, some forums I've had thousands of posts. And it's great. I've gotten like travel tips and all sorts of advice for the rest of my life from them. So I've enjoyed them. and hopefully I've gotten as much as I've given back. Um, so, what kind of how did the build out process go for you? Because that's something that I always try to warn people about. Like, there's going to be a little bit of work. We're going to have to politely harass you to do your homework, and get the website built, whether it's collecting material or resumes or pictures or testimonials. There's a lot of stuff that has to go into it, and we have to work with you to collect it. How did that go for you?
I think the thing that helped the most is there is some accountability for us. You guys were great at providing a list, a layout of, hey, this is what we need from you. Let's start with this. Whether it be office photos, testimonials, content. Copyright was kind of a big one. There's some
Yeah.
sections of the website, for instance, sedation. I feel a little bit more comfortable taking on that and writing that, but some of the other stuff that you guys were certainly able to help me, because certainly as a business owner and a full-time clinician, there's some things that I just didn't have time to do, and if we waited for me to do it, it would probably never get done. So I think the accountability standpoint, and that worked for both sides as well, where you guys could also let us know, hey, here's where we're at in this process, just to let you know this wasn't just, hey, starting the process and then we didn't move forward from there. So that it was kind of a two-way street, so that helped a lot. I'd say the couple sections on our website that we really wanted to focus on was, of course, the aforementioned IV sedation bus, so the before and after. So that was kind of important to us. We had quite a list of before and afters, but being able to
Yeah.
adapt into a great presentation was really important for us.
That's good. We're struggling to get before and after cases from clients, and usually it's because the dentists are perfectionists and their work is never quite good enough. And you look at it, it's like, this is fantastic work, this is fine, but they're like, no, can't you see this little discoloration there? We're like, nope, it looks fine. And you have to kind of convince them that they're kind of beating themselves up sometimes about it, or they just haven't gotten around to taking pictures. And you just have to help develop that like good habit. So it's always nice when clients have already done that in advance, and the problem is the sheer volume of getting all the casework in there. That's the easiest problem to have in this regard. So what have you seen? What sort of impact of the practice have you had since you started working with us? Have you seen any new patients? Have people mentioned the website? Um, any feedback for us there?
Yeah, and we certainly new patient numbers. It's always important for any practice that we have seen an uptick in that. I don't know if it's a Mercedes Benz or a BMW study in which they kind of talked about building that identity, that trust in a brand, and that potential client has to at least see you 7 times in 7 different forums. So we get a lot of compliments on the website, but it's been amazing to us that a lot of patients are coming in very well educated, not only who we are but what we offer as well. So it just makes that getting that patient able to commit to treatment and able to move forward a lot easier. So we're always amazed that probably one of the number one pages on our website is just the staff bios, that patients spend a lot of time just learning about the staff and learning about the office before they ever set foot in the office. So that's been eye-opening quite a bit, but it's been a fun process to really watch it grow and develop, and it's still an ongoing process.
I know the studies you're talking to, and that's why branding has become so important, and all the different places on the internet where you have Facebook profile or Google My Business profile, just because they're looking at all these different practices, and anything you can do to have distinctive branding that stands out, and so they remember, that's where I saw the good reviews, that's where I saw the cute pictures of their kids, where giving a little toothbrush or something, because they can just make that mental association with the branding. That's very useful for instilling trust. And then your comments about the about page, for almost every client, that is the case. People want to know, who is this person? This is an emotional decision. You're not buying lumber or something where you like don't really care. This is going to be a long-term relationship for most people, and you've seen that yourself. It's you're not just signing up yourself, but in some cases 3 generations of your offspring. So one thing we always try to get clients to do, and I actually don't, I have no idea what you're going to say this, is log into their website to add content. How often do you end up, or your staff, logging in to make changes or additions or add content?
So, I really delegated that to my office manager, Caleb. I would say he's on it once a week,
Oh,
whether
that's great.
that's, just modify, add a testimonial, post a blog, modify maybe an FAQ section or that sort of thing. So it's at least once a week that he tries to touch up something on there.
Oh, he's overperforming. That's excellent. We're usually trying to twist arms to get like once a month. So once a week is fantastic. So not sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes a mistake is made or there's a problem. Have you used customer service at all since you started with us? What happened? How did it go?
Well, I'm trying to remember the great management guru Peter Drucker said, what gets measured gets
Yeah.
managed. Um, we've been very fortunate that you guys provide great reports on a monthly basis in terms of performance of how the website itself is actually performing. Our client advisor Matt is always available. He does a great job in communicating with us. You guys tend to, if there's any issue, you guys tend to be on top of it before we ever know there's an issue. And just being able to reach out to us via email, call, and just let us know that, hey, we see this problem and we're on it, and we hope to have it fixed very quickly, which has been incredibly rare that we've ever seen that. We've been very appreciative of that. Matt gives us some direction as well in terms of what he thinks that we should kind of focus on next, whether that's a specific blog post. Hey, it seems like there's a trend in how much does SRP cost? Okay, well, we can, shoot out a quick blog post on that, and that really gets some traction as well. It also kind of keeps us on task too. So, sometimes you're kind of like, I don't know what's important here. Do I need to do more testimonials? Where do I need to focus? So he can kind of focus our energy, our time and energy, and what needs to be done.
Oh, good. Matt is your marketing coach. I'm assuming he's getting his direction from whoever the SEO analyst is who's looking at your account and trying to tweak things and just saying, give me more content about this, or this,
Right.
so we can keep boosting it up. So what advice would you have for a dentist who's trying to find a website or marketing company? I'm obviously biased and we want them to pick us, but how would you recommend they generally go about this process? Because there's a lot of companies that are going to say exactly the same things as us, and they might be able to do it. They may be completely misleading people. How's a dentist supposed to figure this out, or tell the marketing companies who are really good at this from the ones who are just saying the right things that people want to hear?
I think that, that's a huge challenge for dentists, especially in today's dentistry, is that we're so inundated with products, services, that we don't know if these are legit or these are fly by night companies. So, you do have to really vet the process. Of course, the big thing is getting ready to get ready, right? So we, as practice owners, we all have so much going on, whether it's renovating a bathroom or a CE trip coming up with the team. Call is really important. Reach out, because you're never going to be ready to start the process, and it is a process, but it's worth it as well. The other thing is accountability. I kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. Is that we have monthly phone calls with Matt. Caleb has monthly phone calls with Matt, and he's able to kind of let us know, how are things going, where are we looking to go, and where can we improve. So that feedback is so vital, because you know as we get busier in our lives, having that ability to kind of refocus and get back on track is so important, and you guys have been great with that.
Well, I appreciate that feedback and thank you for sharing it. Do you have any other feedback you have for me? Anything else you want to share? Anything else you think other clients or potential clients should know?
Not that I can think of.
That's okay. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for sharing those sentiments with us. Sincerely appreciate it.